Somebody gonna call me out. Somebody gonna call me out. So we live.
Well, you put it on me.
Darius with me. We was back there chopping up, having too much of a good time, and we gonna go back to that in a second. But definitely want to come on. Appreciate you guys. I know I was a little bit late. If I be late again, I might have to start paying in the group a cash app or something. Like, hey guys, I'll be late to hold that accountability. But no. Appreciate you guys. 1,300 of you guys in the group. You guys ask questions. You get to ask questions. You've been engaging a lot, asking the question, no matter what the question is. There is no stupid question because it's all about meeting you where you are. Money Talks is always about meeting you where you are to help you make the best decision for yourself financially. I got Darius. He's going to talk a little bit about his debt-free journey, how much he paid off, things of that nature. Before I get into that, again, I definitely appreciate you all. If you're on YouTube or watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, like the video. Down below, you'll see Darius' information. You'll have my information. You'll have that Money Talks group that I'm always mentioning. You can subscribe to those, and then leave a comment. Let us know you were there. So, without further ado, so Darius, I think you're like the first guy I had single that's a debt free. I'm about to go back, but I think you're the first guy. So you're breaking a couple records today. So Darius, we connected via the internet, of course, because nobody can connect in person no more.
With that marathon.
Right. But Darius just paid off a boatload of debt. And he's going to share that with us. So Darius, how much debt did you pay off? How long did it take? What kind of debt was it? Let's jump right into it.
All right. So recently, basically back in May 2020, basically was able to pay off the rest of my student loan debt, which was the major portion I had left, which is pretty much what most people have left. And I'll kind of go into it too. I started my debt-free journey pretty much 2011, 2012. I graduated in 2012. So, that's when it started rolling in, right? But here more recently, probably within the last 2 to 3 years, I paid off $45,000. I think I had it right, $45,623.18. And that was a combination of student loans, a credit card balance that I had, a vehicle as well that I was able to pay off. And like I said, mainly finishing out some student loans. But this wasn't just a 2 to 3 year journey. I started this journey in probably 2011, 2012, seriously. And it was probably closer to about 50K when you just kind of consider everything. Then with just where the loan amounts were for coming out of college, coming out of school. I was blessed to have a little bit of grant money and things like that, just from academic success, thank God. And but it wasn't full ride, nothing like that, So. But it served its purpose. And like I said, I started that journey, but here more recently, the last, I say, from 2017 to 2020, May 2020 was when I really started to turn those wheels, start to create that snowball effect. And then, like I said, I'm blessed with the opportunity to be able to transition to making it happen, man. So that's kind of the short version.
Yeah, I mean, 50K, man. That's an Audi. That's a Lexus.
Yeah, and it was probably a little.
That's a nice down payment on a home.
And that's just encompassing the type of loans. When you say all the 50K, it was student loans. Student loans was probably about I say 2/3 of it or whatever. Just because that's typically a lot of times the largest amount. And then vehicle. I only had one credit card. And so it was just a combination of like stuff like that, basically. But the majority of it was the student loan debt, as like I said, as most of us probably have when we're fighting that debt-free journey. So
and then like you said, you just came out of college, so depending on, I don't know about your journey, I didn't come out making 60, 70.
No, so I came out. I mean, 2011, I was. Thank God, I was blessed to get a job in my field. A lot of people, don't. I'm in IT, so I'm a network administrator, so I'm in IT. So I graduated from North Carolina State University. I'm an NC native. I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina. Just a little background about me. So after NC State, I was blessed to get an opportunity in Indianapolis, right? So I never been to the Midwest, never been
Right.
to Indiana, like, you know, but at the same time, birds got to leave its nest, right? And I'm like, yo, especially if it's an opportunity in my field, I don't want to go get a infotech degree, management degree, and then I mean, nothing against any of those jobs, but I want to be doing what I invested this time in, and also what I'm gonna be still paying for after these 4 years. Like, you got to make this happen. So took that opportunity, man. I don't think I started out making 46 or less in 2011, and I mean, it was a grind, you know. It was a grind. I've always, like I said, thanks to my family, thanks to my dad. He's always been a big inspiration from a financial standpoint. Always big on like keeping a budget. I mean, even I've always been a hustler, always been a grinder. So, man, I used to cut grass, paint mailboxes, man, you name it. And he would always say, you need to keep a ledger. That's open. You need to keep a ledger. Like, bro, what's a ledger? Is this a leather right? I'm going to cut this grass, and I saw them J's I want. That's my ledger because I'm living at home. So, you know what I'm saying? But that he instilled that principle in me. And one thing I'm actually proud of myself about or excited about, I tell people, is that I actually have the same zero-based budget spreadsheet that I started in 2011. Yeah. And so and I've just I transitioned it each year. Yeah. So I typically, even now, can still always tell you every dollar to the cent where everything is. And that's not just in my checking and savings, that's in my loan. That's how I kept up my loans. That's what I was trying to get to. That's how I kept up with my loans all the way to the percentages. And then when the percentages changed, because my dad had co-signed on some of those, at that time, being in the military and stuff. So you had some deferment and stuff like that. And so then those percentages jumped, when he was like, all right, we about to put this in your name, what I mean? And so I was just really determined. Also, I have always had a dream. I never thought it would happen this soon, that in a sense, I will owe no man nothing. You know what I mean? So I do own real estate now. I do own property as well. So and working on using that as cash flow. But mainly, I was like, look, I gotta get rid of this what I call petty debt. And that's how it started, man. Honestly, and I was like, I gotta keep up with my money. And I mean, I'm on 46, and I mean, I was giving good. I wasn't like, I was blessed to still be living. Okay. But at the same time, it's like, sometimes you live in check to check for a while. Yeah.
That's a reality. When you think about, I mean, first you just shared so much. So
yeah, my bad.
You're good. You're good. We that's what it's in for. So just wanted to kind of bring up, but like you said, it sounds like just kind of your upbringing, your father kind of inspired that mindset of, hey, you got to pay attention to this. You're spending on J's, and don't get me wrong, I cut grass. I was doing all that. And when I look back, like, I even know the numbers of what I was doing as a 10, 11-year-old. And when I look at those numbers, I'm aghast that I had that much money, and I did not realize, I did not understand. And then, I mean, obviously, education and all that type of stuff, because, like, my mom gave me the best. She gave me the will. She gave me the desire. She gave me in my opinion, she gave me the key to being able to solve all my problems, because she taught me how to get out there and grind. She's like, hey, go do this. Go do it this way. And I knew how to grind, but on the back end, she didn't know nothing about investments or Roth or anything like that. So if she didn't have that, why would I have those things? So it sounds like he kind of helped earlier kind of set that stage and develop that mindset for you. So when you got that day, even though you knew it, you were like, hey man, I need to take this a little further. Now you said, 2011, I was making $29,000 a year. That was the first job I had, and I was working on my master's. But I saved 10 grand in that year. You know what I mean? Right. So it definitely is a different. I had a roommate and all that type of stuff. It's different, but when you start to take on or shift, and when you start going into gear to paying, and like you said, it was even more knowledge. It was even more glaring for you because you knew the percentages. You knew what that meant. Like, you ain't just know, oh, it's 6%. You was like, oh man, it's 6%. Like, you knew the effect. So
the perpetual.
Right.
Okay.
the compound interest the other way. Yep. So when you think about one of the hardest things for a lot of our peers, a lot of people in our age group to grapple with, what would you say is the biggest thing about trying to tackle student loan debt? Because a lot of people, you're right, it's a contract we didn't, you know what I'm saying, we didn't understand. And we got bamboozled. A great majority of us who have student loans, you got bamboozled. And because you signed a contract and you didn't understand the terms of the contract and you didn't understand the repercussions of how that would work. So that by default is bamboozled. So how do you wrap your head around emotionally, like really kind of helping yourself, again, level up in the mind to be like, you know what, I did it. It is what it is. Let's knock it out. And then 50 ain't a lot. 50 ain't no, I'm sorry, small number. You know what I mean? 46, whatever. But you got people who they got house like 100, 200. You know what I mean? And they're like, man, I'm not making no 100, 150. So what would you say? And you've been doing this since 2011, so you can kind of speak a little bit to that. Hey, you played a long game. You did. Mm-hmm. What would you say to that?
I would say, I mean, like I said, for me and in our sense too, it was less of signing a contract and not knowing. It was more of a, you know, kind of that soft you had to, right? You're in school. We got it. I mean, well, you're in school, so you need to have the money. You know what I mean? Right. That kind of thing.
Right. This is how you pay for school. I heard that.
Right. So, like I said, I know everybody wasn't necessarily blessed with mentors or people like that. And so I was always one that, like, I didn't want to be the person to be like, I wish I knew then what I know now. I was like, let me listen to these OGs, let me listen to these people tell me, or let me research, let me, you know, thank God that I had people. Honestly, you know, I have to first of all say that, you know, definitely my faith in God and just him, like I said, showing favor over me through my journey was a big piece of this as well. Because another thing that I'll say is that I've consistently paid tithes since then as well. Yeah. And that's a whole nother conversation that the battles I've had of that. I was like,
you know what I could do with this?
But just a mindset level, it's just like you said, all right, here's what it is. Let's get it started. Because that's a big uphill battle. And it's very easy to look at that hill and be like, I get to it later. Yeah. And every time you say you get to it later, you don't notice it thing's getting bigger and bigger, right?
It's still moving. You stop.
You stop. And so for me, it was, okay, this is not what I'm claiming for my life long term, right? Because I'm all about living for legacy, right? Whether it be family, whether it be, like I said, one of my biggest dreams is that my last name, even if it just started with me, owes no man nothing, because I wanted to break that generational curse, as we call it. I wanted to not only break a curse, I wanted to set a new precedent for after me, you know? And so my mindset was like, okay, you know, and even Pops, even whatever, it was like, all right, look, we've done this. You got the opportunity to do this. Right. You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay. And at first I wasn't like, man, I'm about to work on this debt-free journey. It's 2011. Right. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, there was times where it was like debt-free was a priority. Then there was times where it was like, man, you know what? I ain't gonna man, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being transparent. Yeah. There were times where it was like, whatever, you know, but that check-to-check living, that seeing my money go towards Sally Mae, go towards Navient, go towards my Great Lakes, whoever, and then seeing what I had left, you know, I was like, nah, man, this ain't the will of God. But you know what I mean? Like, nah, this ain't it. So I just took, like I said, I took an initiative to just try to say, all right, let's take it one step at a time, right? Because where I start right now is really, I'm going to reap later on by starting right now. And so, I mean, it was a lot of things in that too. I mean, 2012 is actually when I read, and I know I've heard a lot of people talk about this, and it's true. Like, I've read the Dave Ramsey Takeover. And honestly, like, and you know, he can be brash about certain stuff, but he's spitting real. But I appeal to that type of motivation. So there were parts in there where I was like, I ain't selling everything. But, you know, but then there was parts in there where it was like, dang, you right. That's stupid. Like,
it is.
You know, it's like you can't even argue with it.
Well, that, and you just never thought of it that way.
Correct. Right.
You're right. When I know when I came up, it was, you want a nice car, you got to go get a car note. Like, and then when I got my first car note, and I realized this ain't no new car. I'm like, well, it's nicer than what I had,
Right.
but I had a car note, and then I still had car issues. I'm like, well, I don't think it's supposed to work like this. So I mean, I get why people be like, well, I'm not paying no car note, and the car is broke. Like, and they'll tell people that. So no, it's really important that people realize when you talk about the debt-free journey, when you talk about being in it, it's again like quarantine. Quarantine is hard. We are active. The way our lifestyles are formed, we are active people. We like to engage. We like to do stuff. We like to do the brunches. We like to do that social activity, social media. I mean, we're all about engagement. So when you put a brash punishment, and now you're not doing it like quarantine, everybody was made to stay at home. But in your life, when you're talking about, I did what I thought was right. I went to school. I got a job. I got a place to stay. I got a decent car. And then you get back and be like, well, that I'm just getting started. Like, I can't travel. I can't go to X concert. I can't go kick it with my friends for their birthday. And you're like, why is this not adding up? Because in my mind, I got the job. I'm not at my mama's house. Like, what else is it? So the challenge starts to be, oh, I didn't set this thing up right. So that's why I'm not understanding. And then, like, if you talk to somebody who's debt-free versus somebody who's not debt-free, or you talk to somebody, honestly, you talk to millionaires, and then you talk to somebody who's not a millionaire. To be honest, the person who, like, I'm not a millionaire yet, but I know what the end looks like. But somebody who you haven't been exposed to that, you don't know what true life can be because you've been living check to check. You've been living, not investing. You don't know how that opens up doors for you on the other end, because the fact is, I mean, we've heard it in our lyrics, cash rules everything around me and all that. But the fact is, our society, the United States, our economy runs off money. Like a couple of videos ago, I had a couple on, and the wife was like, yeah, anything you do is going to cost. So that's how it is. So
it's the reality.
Yeah. So if that's how it costs, then it's the fact of the first step that I learned, and we kind of went a rabbit trail. I'm gonna bring you back, but the first thing we learned was you got to get a job. But as you're older, like you just said, you're delving in real estate. Yeah, I talked to you, and when I told you all the different things I do, you realize, this one job thing kind of makes your life suffer. So, you know what I mean? And then you start thinking about, okay, like you said, hey, I want my legacy. I want to be able to turn things. I want to be able to turn things down. My thing was, I just don't want, like, my single mission is, I don't want money to be the reason why I'm not doing something. If I'm not doing it, it's my choice. I'm like, hey, I'm just not doing it. But if it's, you ain't got $500, I ain't got $500. Yeah. I ain't got 50 grand. Well, I don't want that, but I got the 50 grand. You know what I mean? And it is the last piece I would say is, when you're the first, you take the biggest hit. My parents, your parents, they may not be me. They may be millionaires, what have you. But in order for you to be 4, 5, 6, 7 million, and they're only one, they took a hit. Your kids, you might be 7 million, for them to be 10, 14.
That's it.
You had to take the hit to get to the 7.
Yeah.
For one business, a franchise, for it to be a franchise, somebody had to set up the first business. Right. For you to get your real estate going. You have to take one hit on the house, meaning you cut your lifestyle, you decide, hey, I'm not going to do certain things because I'm trying to get this invested into going. And the fact is, in this debt-free journey, you have to take a hit. You have to say, hey, I'm going to cut back on my food. I'm probably not going to kick it like that. And I'm going to feel like a failure. This sucks. This, you know what I mean? I'm not going to do this. But the reason why I'm not doing this, and the math to tell you, if I stay focused on this for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, okay, I'll be done. If you get past 3 years and that journey is a 4 or 5 year, and you're married and you got kids, well then you have to switch up how you're gonna do your journey, because that's really too long. Like you'll die. Like you know what I mean? Almost, or you feel like you die.
Nice.
Because you can't go like if you're as a single person. I know how hard I live, and I tried that mess with my wife, and she's like, "You can live like that."
Yeah, look,
like
frugality has ended so many
relationships.
you know what I'm saying? But honestly, I was at a point where, and I'm not, like you said, that freedom gives you the choice. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And even though you have the choice, you don't,
Right.
depending on where you're trying to go. And so, like you said, mindset for me was was missing out on those. And
Right.
I have a background in like discipline and regimen. Right. My dad's a colonel, my granddad's a Marine. So I actually thrive off discipline. You know what I mean? So that was easy for me. Easier. I'm not gonna say it was easy, but it was easy for me to say, all right, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. And then also, you're right. It's me by myself. So if you get mad, but also you don't pay bills, then you know what I'm saying? So that was my mindset. But you still got to be able to accept that, and it's not like sometimes it's cut and dry. Sometimes a lot of times it's not really that cut and dry, man. It sucked missing things sometimes. It sucked not missing things. For me, it sucked not having the power to be able to do when I wanted to do. Or like you said, being able to be like, nah, I got it, but I don't want to do it like that. From a male standpoint, from a breadwinner standpoint, the pride, honestly, in that is what would crush but motivate me, because I hated having to say no because I couldn't.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
I don't like saying no to myself, but above myself, my wife asked me for something, and I'm like, nah. And that's why my heart aches for anybody that goes through that. But like you said, I keep telling people, I'm like, it's not about getting out of debt. It's about buying your choice. When you get out of debt, you're buying essentially your financial freedom. Financial freedom means you now have flexibility to do many different things. But the fact is, with the debt piece, it's a quicksand kind of slippery slope thing. Meaning, if you start down the debt-free journey and you're going hard and you went off a year, it could take 2-3 months of you taking a break to unravel what you just took a year to do, because of how math works and how this compound interest can come at you. So the thing is, if you're gonna pay off debt, number one, is a reason why you have to focus on one at a time, because if you spread it out, well, the interest rates are too high for the amount of money that you're bringing in to get you where you want to go. You can do debt Ramsey, the debt snowball method. You can do the debt avalanche method. I even tell people, I'm like, you might even want to do the highest payment first if it pays off quicker, whatever. But in each one of those methods, you always have to look at, they say they're focusing on one before they go on to the other. And the thing that, like I said, it is about buying your freedom, boss. All we're doing is buying our freedom. So what would you say with some of your challenges 2011, we almost to 2021. So, you know what I mean? What would you say with some of your challenges during that time that you, like you said, you are disciplined, but even you said, hey, man, sometimes I'll be like, hey, I just can't. So how did you refocus and try to get yourself back on track to keep going on the race?
Like you said, I think you deal with the realness of I love how you talked about the mindset, the emotional, male, female, doesn't matter, just the pressure, but also the internal battle that you have, right? Because like you said, telling yourself no, man, that's tough. You know what I mean? Whether it's a diet or whether it's what you're gonna spend, you know what I'm saying? Like, so some of the challenges I would run into, like you said, were just like you said, simply, man, just not being able to do what I wanted to do, or what some of my friends were doing. And a lot of times I would be like, why I'm grinding like this and they don't even care about that stuff, but they still
they care in the world.
Because I had friends that it was like, I'm like, nah, not clocking no other man, but I'm like, I know your money ain't right. But their sense of peace going on that trip to learn, and it wasn't even a jealousy thing. It was just like a, you just go in your mind like a, like, bro, like I'm over here, man. Like you like, come on now, like, you know what I'm saying? Right. But so that was something, and honestly, I just had to continue. The way I overcame all the challenges that I really did was, one, having that stuff written down, having those goals written down. I had goals written down. I always write down goals. Love goals, and some goals I write that are just really, really big and outrageous, and some goals I write that are next month, 3 months, 6 months. I've always done that. And so sometimes in my phone, I would just refer back to that. And then I would go back to that spreadsheet when you're talking about that. Yeah. And I actually like seeing like, ooh, I'm getting a little closer. So it'll make missing out on that turn up not as, painful. Yeah. Not,
but the turn up is going to be there. Like,
because that's the other thing is realizing that, dang, they had the same thing again this week. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
same people.
But
same
on that Friday, you're not thinking that. You like, man.
Right. They had this DJ there. That DJ playing the same music as the last DJ. The same people who was kicking it there this weekend, they gonna be there.
They gonna be right there. So they gonna be right there.
It's okay.
But that was a big one. Was just focus on the bigger picture. That was how I overcame, was keeping my eyes on the prize and refocusing on the bigger picture,
So how big, or one of the things that even when I'm having a discussion with people about the goals, because I always tell people, yeah, I want you to write your budget, but if you're married, you should have like three like solid goals. One goal for husband, one goal for wife, one goal in the middle. If you're single, you should have about 3 goals that you're doing, short term, long term, at least 3 to get you going.
Yep.
And the purpose of that, when I tell people to do that, is if you know your goal, then when you're looking at, what should I pay or what should I be doing, it tells you based off what you're trying to do. You already decide. I didn't give you the goal. You said it was important. If it's important, then you're going this way. If it's not important, then you need to change the goal and you need to make it a goal that's important. Mm-hmm. But how much impact do you think that changes the scenario by having goals like for your budget?
I would say tremendously. Like, I mean, I can't even put it in. I can't put it in because honestly, everything that I wrote down, it might not have come to pass in the time that I did, right? And I know, how people say cliche, it's power, you better write it down. But I'm gonna be real, man. Like, even to this day, non-financial goals, like stuff, I'd be like, dang. Sometimes it's like, dang, I did that. I can check it off. You know what I'm saying? But writing down those goals also honed in my focus, and it kept me disciplined when my willpower went away. Because at first you're like, man, yeah, let's go, and then you run into those challenges. And then you got to say, okay, man, I got this will. I really want to put some rims on this thing, man. It ain't going to be that much. I just debt free journey. It's going to be riding nice. Right. It's paid off. I might as well get some right. Mine, you know what I'm saying? And then you got to look at that goal, how far you are from it, and then that sometimes it's as simple as, all right, nope, that don't align, right? Yeah. But then sometimes it's like, yeah, it don't. But like, man, but having those, like I said, having those clear-cut goals, like I said, my biggest one was the whole, and that's something I still, now that expands to the rest of my family and hopefully investments and different things I'm trying to get into. Like you said, can correct. I don't mind taking that hit. You know what I'm saying? Because I just posted something the other day, and it wasn't a post of mine, but it was like, my children or my whatever will benefit from things I do in this decade. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there is value in me enjoying the now, because I'm gonna enjoy life now. I don't work too hard, and I'm gonna work hard enough to enjoy life now. But having those crazy goals like that, and then like you said, having the step goals and you achieve those, it kind of starts to make you be like, no, I gotta keep doing this. Yeah. I can't afford to make that decision because it doesn't align with me paying this car off that's $5,000, or it doesn't align with me having $60,000-$70,000 of debt down, or completely off. So that was, honestly, goals Dude, I still got them in my phone from 2012, 2015, 2014.
Absolutely. I'm all about what can I check off. What can I
Yeah.
hold myself?
Checklists are great. They build momentum.
Yeah,
Checklists build
they do.
momentum, man.
Before I used to think people were just freakishly nerdy, but now I'm like, I'm
And
that
I'm a
person.
nerd all day.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be a nerd. But so, what would you say if somebody's just beginning the journey? What are the things that you would tell them to help them prepare to go through? Like, because there is challenges. There is going to be challenges. So, what would you say? Hey, you're about to beat that free. Hey, this is the real. Watch out for this. Do this. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough, but do this. So, what would you say some of the things to help them prepare for the challenge that it is that comes with being there, going down that journey?
I would say one, reassess your goals. Two, accountability is huge. And accountability was huge during the journey. It's all a journey, but
Right.
accountability is huge. And I feel like now accountability, and we talked about this a lot earlier, I'm glad you hit on it, is getting in touch with people that are experts in where you're trying to go. Right. Or have experience. They don't have to be expert, but experience in where you're trying to go and get that knowledge, right? Or I always try to talk to people, you know how they always say, I always try to talk to people that are where I'm trying to go as well. So creating a community that can keep you disciplined as well, just through accountability, but also give you the knowledge and the wisdom on where to go. Because when you don't know, a lot of times it costs you more than it should trying to figure it out on your own when you could have just asked somebody.
Yeah.
And so for me, when it was preparing for that, and I'm still in that phase, I'm still finding, and I'm like, what? Because now my mind is not focused on snowball. My mind now is like, wait, it's open. So it's like, wait, that's a business? You know what I mean? Like, so wait, you mean tell me I can sit here and do that can be done? So exposing, I would just say start one, reassess those goals, not reassess, but create those new goals.
Mm-hmm.
And then start to align the way you move your actions with that. But then accountability is huge. I can't get past accountability. Setting up
the accountability piece. I would say I think that's where anybody struggles the most. It's why people have personal trainers. It's why people have all this. And the fact is, you know yourself better than anybody. So when you're going into something that's an uphill battle, like I know I got kind of a semi-personal trainer, my line brother. He's all health and wellness. I'm all money. You know what I mean? He'll talk bad to me all day. Talking about, well, John, you just had another Mods pizza. It seems like stuff. Things like stuff is going pretty good for you. But he'll tell me, and then anything helps, he'll be like, you did 50 push-ups, try to do 60. He'll always try to level me up. And when he's doing stuff, I'm like, hey, did you invest in this? Did you invest in that? All right, let me do it. So, it goes back and forth, but the fact is, like, I mean, he's a big reason why I'm able to keep up with my health the way I am, because he's dropping things for me. And to your point, when it comes to money, I hate to say, I really don't try to offend people when I say this, but I'm like, if your plan has worked so well, why are you not where you want to be? If it's worked so well. So then the second part is, I know the challenge of reaching out, because if you have to reach out to somebody, that means you have to tell somebody, hey, I'm not doing as well financially as I could be doing. Oh, that's huge. Somebody might know your salary, you know what I mean, that you may not want them to know your salary. Well, it don't matter what your salary is if you ain't got no money at the end of the month. So
you got to put that pride down if you want that check. Like, just being honest, like risk. You got to take that risk, man.
So it's a risk on that. But if you ask the right person and you trust what they said, and what they've said has worked out well for you so far. And I say, that's why I tell people, whatever's in the group, if you want to put it in the group or whatever, if you're watching this, ask whatever is in the Money Talks group, whatever you want to. But the fact is, what if you want to buy a car, and in your mind, you're like, I can save, or I can buy a car. And what if the answer is maybe you could save and buy the car, but you have to do some things different.
Right.
You know what I mean? The thing is, we don't want to say we don't want to wait, but then we don't want to say no. I can only do one or the other. You don't get that type of smorgasbord. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you can either take the hit, because if you're constantly buying new cars and you don't have any savings, you're not going to have a retirement. If you're constantly buying new phones and all that type of stuff, you probably won't get the new car that you want, because that's taking up the money that you could be
short term. Yep.
Right. If you're constantly buying new cars, it's going to be hard for you to get a house, because it takes a lot to get you going with that process. Because once you get a house, every time you go into a higher responsibility, it's a larger money responsibility that you have to do to not only keep, but maintain. It's not about the monthly payment.
Mm-hmm.
You get a house, it's about that yearly maintenance. It's about things that keep. It's a lot. It's a lot that goes into
maintenance you ain't ready for.
Yeah. Right. You said you want to get a rental property. I want you to go find you a person that bought their first rental property that said, "Oh, this thing was a sweet deal. I paid $60,000, $70,000 and everything was just perfect." It ain't gonna happen. Because it's too much that goes on with these investments. Mm-hmm. Same thing with stocks, same thing with business. You have to understand there's gonna be a hit. If I'm taking a hit in a business and that hit 5 years down the road is the reason why I'm netting $10,000, $15,000 in a month for the business, but I didn't buy the new car at that time. Now I got $10,000, $15,000 in the business, plus I can go buy the new car that I wanted. So it's again a long way. We're ultimately trying to, when you're doing this journey, whether you're just starting, whether you're trying to get started, whether you're in it right now, you're doing all this to give yourself the option of never telling yourself no when it's something you want to do. Because your life starts with survival. At first, you're just trying to build the foundation. That's first. Then next, you get to a point, if you've done your money right, then it's all about everything you're talking about is really just a want. You're not talking about keeping the lights on. You're not talking about trying to pay your rent. You're not talking about trying to pay car insurance. You're talking about, can I, saying, oh, I want to take this vacation. I'm mad because I can't take this vacation because I got to go to this other thing this weekend. You got the best of both worlds. You can't split yourself, so it's like, oh man, I got to put off the vacation. Right. That's your decision. You could always tell somebody, look, I ain't coming. You know what I mean? you can definitely always tell them. But that's the thing that I want people to know. So I went on a few rants and I stole your shine. I want you to talk a little bit about some of the things you're working on now, because you got out in May, right? You paid off the last one in May, right? So what have you been doing since being debt free? What are some of the things you're focused on now?
So the biggest thing I'm focusing on now is one, I got a lot of buddies that are really successful in real estate and in different types of real estate, whether it be buy and sell, and buy, hold, and sell, and flip, and renovate. And I got one or two of my buddies is they're licensed in real estate and stuff like that too. So that's what I'm getting into. I'm actually looking into my next venture is the house hacking strategy. So that's one of the things I'm trying to get into, and then just so now my mindset is not paying debt. My mindset is acquiring assets that one of my goals I have written down is I want to have an asset for every bill category, right? That's kind of like my little chart. So that's the first biggest one I want to get into. And it's a smooth, easy way to get into, because I already have a property now. So then I can cash flow that. You know what I mean? So it's all about, because honestly, that's how you win. You don't spend your money on stuff.
You're not spending your money, guess what? You actually have the money.
And see, before that was here to me. And now when I say here, I mean from a mindset level. Yeah. And now that's the base level. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm working towards. Another way, so ways, kind of roll into this, ways that I was able to get debt free as well was, so I talked about that I think it might have been $46,000 salary in 2011 that grew over time. I would get yearly bonuses. I'm still with the same company that I'm an IT in, but I also like I said, I've always been a grinder, always been a hustler, and I always try to hustle in things that I have a passion for. So I started, we'll talk about that too. I started SPAX training. So I'm also a certified personal trainer and sports nutritionist. So I started training youth athletes, youth, adult, semi-pro athletes in Indianapolis, where I was at the time. And honestly, I would take all that money and use as my snowball. So in essence, you would think I was working for free, but I really wasn't. Like, I was using my salary to take care of the survival and living, and then I was using my hustles to snowball, right? And then I would get a bonus every year. And I'm be real with you. That's another thing that my mindset that it used to piss me off, to be honest with you, that my whole check would go, and it ain't a bad check. My whole check would go towards that, and it's not even like it's done after I send a check to it. It's like it put a dent in it, and now I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, when I say I would be so hot, I would be thankful, but I'll be hot the next minute because. And honestly, it was a no-brainer too. You know, if I didn't do that, it would have been would have been so irresponsible, you know. And honestly, that's how I kind of grinded. That's why I said this journey really started in 2011, but 2017, 2018, like I said, that's when I really started to really be able to plow through the snowball of that last big chunk of debt because one, I've elevated to a certain point, and now my focus can be. I got more hitting power, right? And so now, like I said, that's done. I'm growing SPAX more. SPAX Training is the company, and then I'm also working on building another kind of lifestyle fitness brand. And then another thing I'm looking at getting into is basically I want to teach youth like this principle. So that's something else I'm getting to. I want to teach youth this principle, but I also want to work on like exposing youth to things like everyone from technology, sports. Like I want to show them that sports is not the only way to get there. Exactly. And I also want to teach. I also want to kind of teach like budgeting and financial stuff. So I want to use basically that as an avenue to like basically nonprofit type of deal, and then connect and bring in revenue that way. But while also pouring into and helping out the community as well. But like I said, my main one right now is I'm really big on this house hacking strategy. I'm looking into. I'm serious. That's honestly that's like way number one on the go. But still building and growing SPAX. Like I said, it's transitioned from just in person to obviously most of the stuff is online stuff now too. So my fitness coaching and stuff is growing there. And like I said, I want to actually build that to where like I don't even have to be the face of that. You know what I'm saying? My goal right now is I'm trying to continue to find ideas of things that honestly I can wake up in the morning and look at my bank account and it's changed and I was asleep. So any ideas? Like I said, I'll be in the chat and I'll be like, I'm not afraid to ask. I'm not afraid. I don't know. I mean, we have these conversations all the time, but that's where I'm at right now. My mindset is, what can I not do? You know what I'm saying? What can I not do to get this? So, man, it's a lot of different ideas I'm doing. But like I said, the main thing I'm looking at right now is the house hacking strategy. I think there's just going to be another way to me to get deeper into the real estate and asset market and trying to work on getting into some syndications as well. And just, man, like I've been telling people, group investing is huge too if you got the right group and the right situation. You got the right group. It's huge, and one of my boys, he's kind of taking lead on that. So I'm trying to get there because I want to be able to pull triggers. I don't want to be able to see stuff and be like, oh, that's nice, right? So that's also the part of my debt journey. You know, I'll be honest, debt-free journey that I'll be honest with people and tell them is I'm actually now where I'm in a capital building phase. Basically, it's because I want to be able to pull triggers on certain things. But like you said, I'm looking at different avenues like this and still continue to use the same grind that got me to that point so that I can now that's coming this way. Yeah. You know, where before it was going that way. Right. And so I'm trying not to get too comfortable in that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying not to get too comfortable in that. So I'm just trying to, like I said, just work on more so the real estate portion, which a lot of people say, but that's my specific avenue I want to do. I want to do the house hacking strategy. I want to get into syndications. And and I want to be able to get into like units, but also I want to be able to use resources around, so I'm just trying to like get into that kind of thing too. So
That's phenomenal, and that's I mean you said like three
sorry.
things. No, you're fine. You said like three key things that I want people to say. Because I did the same thing, honestly. You went to a job. Hey, you guys are paying me 46. Hey, I need you to up this. I need you to up this. I need you to up this. Oh, you're not gonna up this? Okay, I'm still gonna make the money. I'm still gonna make the money. It's when you add another stream. I don't care if the stream is $10 an hour. I don't care if the stream pays you $500 a week. I don't care if you're babysitting. I don't care what you're doing. When you go, if you only use one piece of income, it's going to take you forever to do everything. Right. If I'm trying to lift a car, I can't lift it by myself. I got to get 10, 15 people with me. The best thing you can do as far as to get your money rolling is find a way to bring more income. In Darius' case, he went out and again, he used stuff that he, number one, liked, and number one, he either had skills in or he had interest in. That's what he did. Myself, people know I rep, I umpire, I manage at the Y. Those are all things I was interested in. It's fun for me. And the fact that I get a check from it, that just takes it another level. But all the things that I do, the reason why I can work like I do, yeah, it's work by definition, but it's fun for me. I talk to millionaires and I talk to people helping them with their finances all day, every day. I couldn't ask for a better job. The only thing I want is more people. You know what I mean? I just want to try to use more people. So the thing is, you might take something, but when you start looking at that, like your first job, obviously we know if we're building through a career, you're going to take some jobs you're going to take some roles to get you going. But when you're talking about that side income, you get to pick that. If you like to play piano, if you like to babysit or run a laundromat or whatever you're trying to do, go do that. Have a simple conversation with. Don't apply online. Just go up there and be like, hey, I'm interested. I would like to do that. Would you be interested? You'd be surprised how many of those jobs you will pick up quickly. And then once you have the income, that gives you more independence. Money gets you more independent. You got to have more margin in the month. So it may be true. Your job may only pay you $45,000, $50,000 or whatever. But that doesn't mean that's all you have to make in the year. That doesn't mean that. And it doesn't mean just because you're doing these activities that you can't spend time with family. You can't do all this because you have to take control. But if you just sit there and let things happen, then a person that lets things happen or a situation where you let things happen with your money means you're going to work at a job. They give you a certain amount of days that you get off a year. You get a little bit for sick time. They're going to give you a little. They're telling you how you're going to live your life rather than you saying, look here, man, I'm finna go. You don't want to pay me this? Okay. I'm finna go get it because this is what people are paying. And if y'all can't pay it because y'all budget or whatever, y'all don't see the value that way, that's business. Okay. But business also is what one vendor won't do. There's plenty of other people in the open market space that will do it. So good. And that was just another way because I didn't want people to miss that you move past that. The other thing I would say is, guys, I mean, Darius is a great person. I've already connected, but a lot of things I want you to see is debt freedom. When you start thinking about debt freedom and investing, I want you to think behind it, you're really just starting to dream again. You're really starting to understand that, hey, there's a lot I can do. And the fact is, what I will say is, if you wanted to start down investing in real estate and it didn't work out, that's okay. If you have another dream, it's not about, oh, I want to be a real estate mogul and I gotta be a real estate mogul. You might find that you're better at managing, or you might find a different avenue as you're going down, and that's okay. But that's the point that I want you guys to see, because that's honestly indirectly what gets people through. They can see their goals. Like he said, he was getting powered by that money coming down. And yeah, it does suck. It sucks. Look, who you are. You gonna drop 2,000 and had a little tech issue. He coming through, but you're gonna drop $2,000-$3,000 on a bill, and you've been waiting for that money, and it's not something you wanted to do. You don't let the money just sit. That's gonna be a problem. So good. What other question? Because I know you're gonna come back here shortly. And I'm looking in the chat. What questions do we have in the chat as he's working through his tech issue? And we're about to wrap up, guys. So I appreciate it.
Sorry about that.
Okay. No worry. As we begin to wrap up, Darius, man, I definitely appreciate you stopping through. And I know both drinking all this water, people probably thirsty. They probably got it anyway. What would you say? Well, first, tell us a little bit about how people can connect with you, support you in your endeavor.
So awesome. Yeah. So, one, like I said, again, I don't know if I got to say it since we've been on here. I know I'll say it at the end, but definitely been honored to be on here. I've loved some of the stories that I've seen. I've been empowered and also reignited, even on this end of the journey by just talking to you, but also other people I watch on YouTube and just the communication in the chat and stuff. And the ways to reach me right now, one way is Instagram is huge. I'm really active on there, just from a lifestyle and also from a business standpoint. So King Bear 100, and the O's in the 100 are actually the letter O versus the number O. So King Bear 100, I think he'll put it down in there. And then also you can go to I actually just launched my new site for King Bear, and that's www.kingbear100.com. And then also for the fitness training side, SPAX Training, SPAX training.com. I'm actually relaunching that site on November 1st. So that's something to stay tuned to. But I also have a Instagram page for that as well for the training. And that's just SPAX Training, SPAX Training. So those are great ways to reach me. My email links and stuff like that are on there. My pages are public. So, you can just pop up, hit me up. And then also Facebook, Bear Godwin. Bear is my nickname. So Bear Godwin on there. I'm also in the group, and I'll start dropping some stuff in there. Actually, I'm about to start dropping some questions in there because I need to see. Like I said, I'm just getting new to the group because me and John just kind of connected. But I'm about to just start dropping in there. Somebody answer, cool. If somebody don't, no big deal.
You'll definitely get answered.
I learned that humility was one of the first steps that I had to really embrace on my debt-free journey. So, but yeah, that's how you can reach me. And definitely feel free to reach out. And man, I love to engage. I love to talk. I love to hear about other people's stories. It keeps me motivated, keeps me going. So, yeah.
So, guys, I know that was a lot of data we threw at you. So, if you're watching us on YouTube, check out the description. All that information will be there. If you're in the Money Talks group, definitely gonna share that information with you tomorrow. Me and Darius gonna work on that and get that information out to you, because I want you guys to be able to connect with some of these people. Because again, it's about, if you don't know, maybe somebody can help you. And these are people that I've connected with, and if you work with me, or if you've had a quick conversation with me, you know how I am. I'm not gonna point you to somebody that I don't believe will give you that same help, generosity, things of that nature. So one of the things I like to do as we begin to wrap up, Barry, is how would you encourage somebody, whether they're single, whether they married? I mean, I know married people don't like taking advice.
I ain't trying to step on those stuff.
But on the debt-free side, maybe they're just about to start their journey. Maybe they're in their journey. Maybe they're on the tailwind of their journey, or maybe they even fell off a little bit. How would you encourage them as we begin to wrap up during this time?
First, I would say is keep the faith. And I know that seems cliche, but seriously, keep the faith in your plan. Keep the faith in whatever your goals were. Those 3 goals that John talked about, those goals that you have down. Not even the financial goals, because a lot of times life goal, everything is affected by money. So just being real. So keep the faith. Look at your goals. Or if you're having a tough time, or you've been in this thing and you're like, man, is it worth it? Look at your goals again and look at what you told yourself. That kind of recreates that discipline there. And then also to just, like I said, make sure you continue to have that accountability. It can only take one person, man. You don't have to have a big community group, but one person as the accountability that you trust, that you can confide in, that can keep you on track is huge. But like I said, just don't look how far you've come. Sometimes that's what helped me. I would go back and look how much I had already paid off, right? And that would keep me grounded and not be like, is this worth it? I'm like, yeah, it is. I done paid off like 15 already, whatever. So, keep the faith. And I will say it pays off. And the biggest thing I'm going to say is I can't even describe it, man. My sleep is different. My thought, not that everything is perfect in the world or anything, but I'm telling you, man, like my sleep is different. My thought process is different.
Right.
And when I say different, it's open now. I can't even describe it. And I just said that. I said it to say it. I want everybody to feel that, right? Because I know the 3-year, 5-year, 10-year, whatever years it is in your debt journey, I know the stress you feel, right? And that stress can feel impossible. But I just want to say it is worth it. It is worth you sacrificing, missing out on those things, right? Because honestly, when you get to the debt-free part and you do things in freedom, it makes up for all them stuff. I mean, and like I said, for me it does. It makes up because now I ain't thinking about, man, I'm on this trip, like, cool, like the trip is great. And then every 5 minutes, like, man, I don't have to pay some of this stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or
we gotta eat again.
Like, then we want to go on this excursion. And you like, well, I was good getting here. Like, I'm just kind of stay on the resort. I've been there. I've been there with one of my best bros. I've been there like, oh man, like I already was pushing it. So I would just say, how you live and being able to live in freedom is worth the sacrifice. Whoever I'm talking to, whatever you're going through right now, it's worth it. And it's not even about coming out on the end of it having buku, whatever dollars, but every day is exponentially better in your finances and your financial health, your financial, emotional, mental health, because now everything pretty much that you're bringing in a sense, right, depending on where you are, what you're doing, it's yours.
Yeah.
And having that power, literally, I'm telling you, it feels like power. So I know for the first month or so, it didn't even feel, I was still operating in my own crab in the bucket like spot. Like I was pulling myself down, like no, but keep the faith, keep looking at your goals. Don't be afraid to look back at how far you've come to where you are. Accountability, and then all I got to say is, man, if you're looking at this right now, it's worth the sacrifice. I'm telling you, that's the biggest thing I can say. Is I can't describe it. I wish I could tangibly give it to you, but when you get there, you're gonna be. You just know. You just know.
No, so good, man. Definitely appreciate you stopping in. We definitely gonna connect. But guys,
for sure.
More definitely to come. Definitely have another debt-free story in a couple of weeks. Definitely gonna drop in tomorrow. You're supposed to have your savings update. How have you been saving? What did you switch up this week? Do that. Like this is all for you. I don't the saving money thing, that's you. That's your house. I'm not it's not coming to me. So this is all for you. All this information, all these people sharing their experiences. This is to help you get to that next level. You want to live your best life? Well, there's a way to do those things. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will tell you, we want to get to 3,000 in the group, but more importantly, if you have a question financially, come ask. Do not suffer in silence. If you are going through something and you're trying to figure out how to look at it properly, seek the wisdom. It'll come to you. Ask. You'll be surprised how much just that one timely information will stop you from making a big choice or a big mistake in your process. So let somebody else give you the wisdom of their experience. Let myself, if you have questions, be right there. If you haven't already, you watch the video to the end, go ahead and like it. If you haven't, subscribe to the channel. If you're in the group, you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Money Talks. And I can't wait to see you guys next time. Thank you.